So with autumn finally here, I've decided to kind of look at my Game Boy and see what I consider to be some of the cozy games to play during this time of year. A lot of times I like to kind of just put on TV shows or movies that I've seen before, cozy up on the couch with a blanket, maybe some hot cocoa or some coffee, and then kind of just put on some Game Boy games that I consider to be in the cozy, side of things. And so nothing that requires too much, like attention or focus, aside from a couple of them that are like puzzle style games, but something that you can kind of just relax with and enjoy your time while you're just enjoying this time of the year. So I pulled aside a couple games here that I wanted to talk about and let you guys know what I consider these to be. Just kind of little fun, great games to put on a Game Boy, and Game Boy Color or on something like the original Game Boy. You can play them on, of course. So let's get started. Obviously, the first one I'm going to say is Pokémon Gold. This game is fantastic for just, starting from the beginning, going through the game. I love these because they have the day and night cycle. I would say blue and red, but I think gold and silver are better games overall. They improved on the graphics, and like I said, the day and night cycle kind of just adds to it. So when you're playing at night, it's nighttime in the game, so it's really fun in that sense. And I mean, Pokemon Gold, Silver were highly regarded as, one of the best Pokemon games. So I have to say this is one of those games that you can just put on, enjoy the music, enjoy the journey while you're going through collecting Pokemon, defeating the gyms. And of course, spoiler alert, but after you defeat the Elite Four, you can then jump back into the Kanto region and go through, the gyms from Red and Blue and Yellow. So that's really cool. So yeah, definitely Pokemon Gold or Silver, or if you have Crystal, if you got your hands on Crystal, or you're doing all this through emulation, that's cool too. But yeah, so definitely one of my tops. Next, and this is going to be kind of a reoccurring theme, is puzzle style games. I feel like these games are great when it comes to just, sitting back, enjoying a cup of coffee, maybe some hot chocolate, and like I said, just watching a TV show or movie, just hanging out at home and just enjoy some puzzle games. And I mean, I think Yoshi's Cookie is a great puzzle game. It's very simple, but it does get pretty hard. Once you hit like level 15, it starts to ramp up. But it is a pretty simple puzzle match game. But again, it's a great one. So this one's up there on games that I just like to play every now and again. And next up here we have Bomberman GB. Now this is different from Pocket Bomberman, which also came out on the Game Boy. That was more of a side-scrolling game. This is more of a classic Bomberman experience. It's really up there with some of the older games and how they played. It's really great that you can play multiplayer as well on it, against people or just CPUs. You can play against 3 other ones. It has a slight story mode on it, but it's just really kind of a progression where you go through dungeons and you can defeat enemies in a specific order. Or the other option is just defeating them in general and then moving on to the next level. But it's a great little game that you could just play for a couple minutes or even, 20 minutes or so and have a good time. And if you like Bomberman, then I think it's a really good game for you if you really like that series. Next, we're going to go with probably not the best one in the Game Boy series, but it's the one that I have on me, and that is Harvest Moon GB. This is the first Harvest Moon game on the Game Boy. It is a very simple farming game. A lot of stuff has been cut back from like the Super Nintendo one, but it's still pretty good to just kind of go in if you want to do some light farming gameplay, nothing that's too intense. It's really good for that. I would probably recommend the third one as my favorite because you could do a lot more. You can get married in that one. But yeah, if you're looking for some kind of nice little farming game, this one's pretty good for that. But again, if you can get your hands on 2 or 3, I'd probably recommend one of those. But yeah, that's a good little farming game, and cozy, of course. Next, gonna go to another puzzle game. Not too many people I hear talk about this game. It's called Boxxle. Again, I'll have footage playing right here on the side of all of these games. And this game is very, just you're kind of moving boxes around like if you were in a factory or something like that. You're just kind of line up all the boxes and, complete each challenge. The thing it reminds me of, if anyone ever played the Deadly Premonition game that came out on Xbox 360 originally, then ported to PS3, all that stuff. There's a mini game in that game in the grocery store that is pretty much this. It's just moving boxes inside their storage room. So yeah, that's like an advanced version of this, I guess. So yeah, definitely if you've played Deadly Premonition, you'll know what this mini game is like. Again, another fun little one to just kind of test your brain out a little bit and enjoy it. Really good game. Definitely underrated. I think it's a really good puzzle game. All right, next we're gonna move into F1 Race. This is a very simplistic racing game, one of the very first that came out on the Game Boy. I still think it's pretty fun. Like I said, you just do a couple little laps, a couple races here and there, and it's a good time. Very, very simplistic racer from back in the day. But again, if you're looking for some kind of racing game for the Game Boy, there wasn't too many of them out there. We didn't really get a Mario Kart until the GBA one on the Game Boy stuff. So if you're looking for like a light racer, definitely check out F1 Race. It's a pretty simplistic racer, but it's still pretty fun. Next here, we're gonna go into Donkey Kong 94, the term that a lot of people call it for the Game Boy one. It just says Donkey Kong, but it contains the original 4 levels from the Donkey Kong arcade game, but then it expands and opens up to a bunch of extra levels and stuff to do in the game. So that's really cool. I really love this game a lot. The music is great. I love the characters, obviously Mario in it, or Jumpman. But Donkey Kong 94 is definitely one of the best ones out there for your Game Boy. And again, just a game you can play while you're just hanging out and relaxing. It's definitely fun. It could get intense a couple times, but not too bad to where, you know, you're gonna want to throw the Game Boy or anything like that. Definitely a fun one. And if you're looking for something with a little more adventure, you know, some story and stuff like that, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Now there's 2 versions of this. You could get the classic one, or you could get Link's Awakening DX, which is the black cart. Comes with an additional dungeon and obviously some coloring added to it to kind of fit more with the Game Boy Color stuff. So Legend of Zelda is a great series, one of my all-time favorites. Link's Awakening is a great game. I love that it has little callbacks to other Nintendo stuff like Mario, and you know, yeah, there's a Chain Chomp in there and stuff like that. So it's really neat for that kind of stuff. But yeah, if you never played Link's Awakening, obviously there's a Switch version out there that you can play as well. But we're talking about Game Boy here, so definitely check out Link's Awakening or Link's Awakening DX. Great little, you know, adventure game with some good little dungeons and stuff in it. These next 3 are gonna be Game Boy Color games, so these will only be able to play on a Game Boy Color or a GBA style system. First one on the list is going to be Pokemon Puzzle Challenge. I love the one on the Nintendo 64, and I absolutely love this one on the Game Boy Color. It's really fun. Again, another puzzle game, but if you love Pokemon, it's great. It's got characters or Pokemon from 1st and 2nd gen on it, and then, you know, you go through it and you do the same kind of thing you would on the classic Pokemon games, where you kind of go through little gym challenges and you fight the trainers and stuff like that, but all through puzzle game. The music is really good in this, and overall a super fun puzzle game. If you've ever played this one or the N64 one, really good. I think the N64 one's on the Virtual Console on the Switch, but yeah, that's a good one. Another game that, you know, is more of an RPG style game that I think is also very underrated is the first Harry Potter game for Game Boy Color. This one actually surprised me. I had no idea it was an RPG game. It's very simplistic, and there are a lot of random battles, so if you're not really for random battles, like a lot of them, then maybe shy away from it. But if you like Harry Potter and you want to play like a light RPG, you know, like my first RPG kind of game, definitely check this one out. It really surprised me. It's a really good game. I haven't finished it, but I keep going back to it every now and again. And yeah, again, if you like Harry Potter RPGs, this one is for you. And lastly, there's so many games that I wanted to put on here, but honestly, I think this last one will be the last one for it. And that is Mario Golf for the Game Boy Color. This is a fantastic golf game for the Game Boy. And there is another golf game available, but it is very simple, more like the original NES golf game. This one's really great because you can go in and create your character or play as one of the, you know, characters from the Mario universe. But it's really cool because you can actually walk around the course, talk to people, do different things, and then compete in tournaments and such. So it's really neat in that way. It's found myself, you know, just playing through it while I was capturing this footage. The mechanics, again, it's going to be simple because it's a golf game. It doesn't get too intense for these, you know, kinds of games. Obviously, Tiger Woods stuff, all that is going to be a little more intense and require more focus, but this one is great for just picking up, playing a few golf courses, and just having a really good time with it. But that's gonna do it, guys. So yeah, what do you know, anything on the list here that kind of caught your eye that you've played before, or you maybe plan on playing during this fall season? I have to say all these games are really great for all of that, especially Pokemon games. I feel like Pokemon games are always going to be a very fun experience just because they're, you know, very chill games. They can get intense when you get into deep Pokemon battles, but for the most part, it's an enjoyable experience. The music, of course, is fantastic in it. My overall winner for this list is going to be Pokemon Gold. Again, just it's a fantastic Pokemon game. And yeah, let me know down in the comments what you guys like to play during like cozy gaming sessions. And it doesn't have to be just for the Game Boy, it could be for anything. I would love to hear your stories and any stories you have of any of these games you plan on picking up or have played before. I'd love to hear those stories, so let me know down in the comments about that. I will catch you guys in the next video. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful autumn season, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.